The opinions expressed by the host and guest on this program are solely their own and do not represent the views or opinions of Blind United. We strive to provide diverse perspectives and discussions on our platform, but the opinions expressed should be understood as personal viewpoints and not reflective of Blind United as an organization.
It's time. It's time for
coffee time.
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 And here is your coffee time crew.
Well, good morning, everyone, and welcome back to Coffee Time with Blind United. It is Monday morning, and today is just me and my brother Pedro. Good morning, Pedro.
Hey, good morning, Ed. What's up, everybody? Happy Monday. You know, the first day of the week, the slowest day of the week.
It must be really slow for some folks.
It's that Monday.
It is what it is, but anyway, get into these interest groups. We got a doubleheader with George Zavala tonight. So starting at 6, we got advocacy. That's one of his main fortes, man. He's really a really good advocate, does a lot of good work on that level. And then right back behind that is Jaws tips and tricks. So he's always coming up with some nice little tips and tricks on, how to get things done within Jaws and, shortcuts to do this, shortcuts to do that, something that is not necessarily given out within the Jaws training. So come on out and hang out with George tonight. Like I said, 6 it starts, and then you'll just back to back and do the Jaws tips and tricks right behind the advocacy. So plans to be, hope it's going to be a great evening. Everybody come check it out. A lot of advocacy work needs to be done, y'all. So come on in.
Even advocating for yourself too, it's a main thing, knowing how to advocate for yourself, knowing the signs and when you might have to advocate or inform someone else of self-advocating for themselves. Even coming in and learning some tips from George. George does a lot of work in advocacy over there and at his home state, he even talks to his to his politicians. He has interviews, so he knows about advocating. He be out there stomping them floors, advocating for other people.
Right. And I mean, and that's where, the majority of us that, claim to be an advocate, that's where we started. I mean, coming through the system when I was, going through and having to advocate with DOR and, look, man, I'm not trying to do what you want me to do. I'm trying to do what I want to do, and all of this other kind of stuff, and different stuff like that. So that's kind of what lit the fire in me. And then, going through the system and seeing that there's just some people that just, they don't know how to speak up for themselves. And sometimes, you got to step in and try to help them out, and hopefully at one point they'll learn. But if not, we got to speak up for the ones that can't speak up for themselves.
Yep, or teach them how to do that. And you could join the class and check out George and his tips on that. And even with Jaws, man, George, he be saying, I'm a Swift Army knife, but I believe he's one also. He has his Jaws, his tips and tricks. It's pretty good class. And we have 2. But George be back and forth. I seen him do one of how to connect your phone to Windows and receive calls and messages for anyone that is interested in things like that. He has gone in that. He's done a couple other ones, right, Ed? Some pretty nice ones.
Man, he does some way out stuff. I mean, even the contact card that we use here, for our interest groups where people can just, use put this contact card in their phone and just tell their phone, call, Blind United Interest Group, and boom, you just dial right on in, come right on into the meeting. You don't have to worry about it. Make it, nice and simple, real easy. You know what I'm saying? That's his creation. He does that kind of stuff. So he likes to sit there and play it with his computer and come up with, a lot of different stuff. When something new comes out, he's okay. Well, let me see if I can work it this way, if I can work it that way. Now he's working on a lot of that. What is that new one he was talking about? The Google Studio, whatever AI platform.
Yeah. Google Studio, live description, well, live feed. It's a live feed, and the AI is able to see your camera. I was trying to check it out. They had it as an app on the iPhone, but no, I think you have to do it through the browser. I gotta talk to George about it, but you're able to do live streaming is what they call it. But for us, it's basically live description.
Right. But he's using it for, like even on websites and stuff where, Jaws may not recognize a button or whatever, he'll just start asking it, okay, where's the button on the page? And what is this button? And it'll actually guide him into putting his cursor right where the button is, so.
Yeah, and it comes in handy, folks, knowing some of these technologies into that. I ran into a couple folks that do have problems sometimes with certain applications and websites, and able to have that on the glasses or on your phone. Right now, it's on the phone. Once it becomes widely used across devices, including like smart glasses and stuff like that, it can help a lot
Yeah.
in navigating, making a website usable. I ain't gonna say accessible because it needs to be accessible out the box. We shouldn't be having all this different technology just to look at a website. It should be done, you know. But
Well,
sometimes we can't wait and we got things to do, and that's what this technology comes into, you know.
well, there's multiple reasons for that. I mean, my opinion, number one, ADA has fallen way behind on, guidelines and regulations on what an actual accessible website is. They have not laid out a definition for that, nor have they laid out, like I said, guidelines and regulations on certain things that have to be done within these websites. So until then, we got to try to figure it out on our own. And thank God for technology. That's all I can say. Thank God for technology. So, but no. So anyway, how was your weekend, man? You had a good weekend?
Yeah, I had a good weekend. Went out to one of these to actually my chapter NFB meeting. They had it during the week. And me and Monica was out there, hanging out with our blind folks in the chapter. Celebrated one of the chapter's birthday, so happy birthday to her. And we just hanged out. And I had my daughter with me, so me and my daughter was just watching some movies, things
Okay,
like that.
okay. Well, I'm being honest. I've been resting all weekend, still dealing with some of the after effects of my surgery and stuff like that. But hopefully, it's going to get better soon.
Yeah.
So, but I can't wait to get back out in them streets myself. So.
Mm.
Anyway, so we can jump into these articles. For those here in SoCal, whatever, we've had some rain over the weekend, and so I got a little article on that on how they have positive and negative effects that the rain has had on the burn areas in here in SoCal.
Today on Coffee Time, rainfall brings relief and risks to fire.
Hold on, sorry, folks. I don't know.
Fire-affected areas in Southern California. Recent rainfall in Southern California has offered both relief and challenges to communities.
Mm-mm.
impacted by devastating wildfires. While the rain has supported firefighting,
No,
Wow.
it does not want to play it.
Wow.
That's
You want
But
me to go
yes,
then, Trav?
we've been having rainfall. I've been outside since last night when I left around 7:30, I per se. A little east from East LA, Whittier area. It was drizzling. The floor was wet. The wind was blowing,
firefighting
so
efforts, it has
I
also
know in
brought
some
new
parts
risks to the
it
region.
got wet.
The
Even
good,
this
aiding
morning,
firefighting efforts.
even
The
this
much-needed
morning,
rainfall
I ain't
has
gonna
played a
lie. This
critical
morning
role in
when if I
suppressing
was out
active
there,
wildfires, such as the
hey,
Palisades and
I
Eaton
heard
fires,
trees were
which are
dripping
now nearing
drops.
full containment.
It was not
These
sprinkling,
fires had
but
destroyed thousands of
it
structures and
basically
displaced numerous residents.
rained,
The
through
precipitation
the
has
night,
provided
and
firefighters with a
hopefully
natural
some
advantage in
parts didn't get
extinguishing
too
remaining
soaked. Some
hotspots,
parts
marking
are
a
fire
significant step
hazard for
toward recovery.
mudslides.
The
Sorry, this
bad,
is the
new
weather
hazards
with Pedro
emerge.
Aguilera.
Unfortunately, the rain has
um,
also introduced new
but
dangers
you
for
know,
already
just to
vulnerable
make
areas.
Pedro, I don't know. I can hear
Mudslides
the
and
article
debris
playing,
flows.
so
Burn scars left by wildfires are particularly prone to rapid runoff,
let me
thank
see
you.
if I can
as
get there.
vegetation
Hold
that
on.
typically absorbs rainfall has been destroyed. The National Weather Service has issued flood watches, warning of potential mudslides and debris flows that could threaten lives and property in affected regions. Toxic ash runoff. Rainwater can carry ash and debris from burned structures into local waterways, raising concerns about water contamination and environmental hazards.
Okay.
Los Angeles County crews are working to mitigate these risks by removing debris and reinforcing
Okay, I just stopped it, so let me see if I can get it to start over. All right.
infrastructure. Community
Can you hear
preparedness.
now?
Authorities and local
No, but
organizations
it was
are taking
online.
proactive
I heard it
measures
online.
to address these risks. Infrastructure reinforcements,
We'll let it finish playing
sandbagging,
then.
and debris removal efforts are being intensified to manage water flow and minimize flooding risks. Public alerts. Residents are encouraged to monitor local advisories, stay informed about evacuation orders, and prepare for potential hazards. Moving forward. As Southern California navigates the aftermath of the wildfires, the recent rainfall serves as both a blessing and a challenge. While it has provided relief to firefighting efforts, the accompanying risks remind us of the complexity of recovery in disaster-stricken areas. What are your thoughts on how communities can better prepare for natural disasters and their aftermath? Join the discussion and let's explore solutions for resilience and recovery. Now, back to the Coffee Time crew for their insights.
So, first off, sorry for the technical glitches. I don't know, maybe it's the weather. But anyway, yeah, I mean, the rain is good to an extent where, I mean, it's helped out with the fires themselves, eliminating a lot of the hot spots, and stuff like that. I believe most of the main fire areas now are pretty much all contained. But I've also heard, in the news that, yeah, some of this, there's some saturation going on. I mean, I heard there's the 101 freeway running through downtown LA got flooded, today. So this morning,
Oh
so
wow.
I mean, there's nothing to hold that water back. I mean, all that stuff, 101, that's right there by, where we was talking about how there was a fire up around Griffith Park and the observatory.
Yes.
They took all of that shrubbery out, so there was nothing to hold that water back. And it comes right down on that 101 freeway, So, plus there's a lot of, you know, I don't know if anybody heard it in the article or not, whatever, but there's a lot of ash and a lot of other stuff like that that's coming down the hills. And, so this debris cleanup is not really, it's toxic to us. So they've intensified that cleanup, trying to get a lot of that stuff out of there, So hopefully they get all that stuff done. So, but yeah, I mean, we got to be really, really careful. Hopefully this rain doesn't get too heavy, because again, well, we're going to have mudslides, First these people, they lose a lot of folks lose their homes because of the fire, and then the people that are lucky enough to still have a home, now here comes the mudslides, and it is, that's just like a wall of mud, a tidal wave of
Mm-hmm.
mud just
Mm-hmm.
comes right through your house, your property. So,
I
uh,
wonder. I wonder if these folks qualify for relief from the government and these aid for aid relief. You think they qualify since the mudslides are due to the vegetation being burned off from the fire?
I mean, you would want to think so, but because they've always and always will continue to put things in different categories. I mean, we know that the
Well, we
mudslides
know,
has
yeah.
every yeah they, the mudslides have everything to do with the fact that we just had a wildfire. So
Hmm.
but insurance companies, we know they're going to try to find a loophole out of it. I know Biden signed a whole bunch of stuff before he left to make sure that we had proper aid here in California for, all of this kind of stuff. I don't know if there's any clauses and, or earmarks in there for, after effect, like I say, mudslides and stuff like that. But, oh boy, he's trying to do a conditional thing, where he's only going to give us aid if we do this or that, so which is totally wrong. But we got to deal with what the administration is running things.
It's a form of blackmail.
Well, yeah, it is. It's exactly what it is. But who's going to hold him against that? Hold his feet to the fire for that? Nobody. So man, I just feel sorry for all of these people.
Hmm.
I mean, they got to beware also. I think I mentioned this maybe a week or so ago. When the fires were still raging out of control. People like in Altadena and stuff like that were, thinking, okay, well, here comes some people that want to help, and they weren't people that wanted to help. They were people that wanted to buy that land. They were, and it was all them corporate folks. They want to buy it and turn it into something else. They want to turn the whole neighborhoods and, that people grew up into. They want to turn it into, where there's no more rental. I should say no more ownership in that area. They want to turn it all into rental stuff. Corporate is on a mission to make sure that we don't own property. They're really, really, really doing everything they can to try to eliminate that stepping stone, into independent wealth. And when I say independent wealth, I don't mean that we're going to be, Elon Musk, Donald Trump, rich, whatever. But um, I mean, it just creates financial stability for the average American person. You know what I'm saying?
Including for the next generation, for example, if your kids.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, you leave your property to your kids. I mean, you're leaving them something, But so again, you got a lot of vultures out there. They want to go in there and pick the bones of these folks. Oh well, we'll buy you. We'll for this dollar, and then okay, when you look at the money they're giving you, where are you gonna buy something for that money they gave you? Then it's not gonna happen because there's a housing shortage, and the reason we have a housing shortage is because they pretty much bought up everything already. So. Every time something comes on the market, everybody look at, oh, I can get that cash money and bounce. Okay.
Or later on, you're gonna hear the commercial. You wanna come to such and such city? Let's say example LA. You wanna come to Los Angeles? Come and rent one of our homes. Come have a life in the city of the future where you will rent.
You know what that reminds me of?
Mm.
RoboCop in New Detroit.
And in that note, I'm gonna try to click this commercial, guys, to play. I hope I hear it. Ed, when it's done, just say next.
All
Okay.
right.
If you'd like to know more about Blind United, you can visit our website at blindunited.org. You can email us at info@blindunited.org. You can call us at 909-846-8825. You can follow us on Instagram at Blind United Interest Groups. You can follow us on X at Blind United 22. You can watch our YouTube channel, Blind United. You could join our Facebook group, Blind United Interest Groups, or you can follow our Facebook page, Blind United.
You hear it, Pedro? We're good.
You need assistance with iOS? Or are you curious what iOS is? Perhaps you're seeking tips and tricks on how to use JAWS on your Windows machine? Or maybe you would like to participate in our popular support group led by Dominic? Or maybe join us for movie nights on Friday, where we watch and discuss the movie of the night? For more information, please email us at info@blindunited.org. Once again, that's info@blindunited.org. You can also follow us on Facebook for real-time updates and community interactions. We look forward to connecting with you.
All right. Well, Katie says her continued prayers continue to come out to Southern California. So we appreciate you as well, Katie. So,
There's more comments. I was gonna see if I could hop in. I don't know what you think.
well, I mean, I got the comments. That's it. You
Okay.
didn't hear the ads?
At all.
Okay. Well, I mean, I can let me run up there and see if I can get it started for the next article.
Well, I'll get you started on the next one, and I'll hop out and I'll be back.
All right, go ahead.
Today on Coffee Time, mass deportations and their ripple effects on the U.S. economy and food supply chain. The recent mass deportation initiatives in the United States have had widespread and immediate repercussions, particularly in agriculture and industries reliant on immigrant labor. These policies are reshaping the nation's labor force, food supply chain, and broader economic landscape. Let's delve into the key impacts. The agriculture sector faces a crisis. Labor shortages. Undocumented immigrants make up a significant portion of the agricultural workforce. With their removal, farms face labor shortages that hinder critical tasks like planting, harvesting, and maintaining crops. Crops may go unharvested, leading to financial losses for farmers and reduced food availability. Economic shifts. To adapt to reduced labor, many farmers may invest in costly mechanization, which could lead to higher operating expenses. Transition to less labor-intensive crops, potentially reducing the diversity of produce available to consumers. Food supply and prices. These labor deficits disrupt the supply chain. Decreased crop yields can drive up food prices. Consumers face limited choices and higher grocery bills as farmers struggle to meet demand. Broader workforce impacts. Critical industries hit hard. Beyond agriculture, other sectors reliant on immigrant labor are also feeling the strain. Construction. Project delays and increased costs are becoming common as companies struggle to fill roles. Hospitality and service industries. Restaurants, hotels, and service-based businesses face disruptions, leading to reduced service quality and rising prices. Social Security and Medicare contributions. Undocumented workers contribute billions to federal programs like Social Security and Medicare through payroll taxes, despite being ineligible for benefits. Mass deportations are projected to reduce these contributions by over $20 billion annually, exacerbating funding challenges for these essential programs. Economic and social consequences. Community disruption. Local economies with high immigrant populations are facing significant challenges. Small businesses reliant on immigrant labor are struggling or shutting down. Reduced consumer spending further strains these communities, leading to economic decline. Inflationary pressures. As labor shortages increase production and operational costs, businesses are passing these expenses onto consumers. Prices for goods and services are climbing, intensifying financial strain for households. A national conversation. The economic and social ripple effects of mass deportations raise critical questions about the balance between immigration policy and economic stability. Sectors like agriculture, construction, and hospitality rely heavily on immigrant labor to function effectively. As these industries grapple with the fallout, the nation must consider the long-term implications for food security, economic growth, and social welfare. What are your thoughts on the impact of mass deportations? Should policies shift to address these challenges while maintaining economic stability? Join the conversation as we explore potential paths forward. Now, back to the Coffee Time crew for their insights.
All right, you back with us, Pedro?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. So, I mean, again, man, I feel so bad for these folks. I mean, let me be clear. I'm not happy about the fact that a lot of these folks have to come over here illegally. But that's not necessarily always their fault. I mean, the process of trying to become a citizen is so daunting. You know what I'm saying? And expensive, right? So they're coming from a third world country, so it ain't like they got a foot locker full of money when they get here to where they can start that process, So, but at the same time, I used to have a big thing against them, back when I was a business owner, I had my own trucking company and stuff like that. But, as I got older and I started paying attention, what I realized, these folks are not necessarily coming over here to do harm. They just coming over here for a better life for their family and stuff like that, trying to provide better for their families. So do I think they need to be targeted? No, I don't. That's the part I don't like. Now, if you want to target somebody, then do what you're saying. The ones that you're claiming, these cartel folks and all this other kind of stuff. Okay, those that have coming over here and started committing crimes, grab them up and get them up out of here. I don't have a problem with that. But when you run up on a man or, a family or whatever the case may be, and, the dad's out there working every day and the mother's taking care of the house, raising the kids are attending school every day, all of this stuff, they trying to do everything the right way, even despite the fact that they're here illegally, leave them people alone. That's just my opinion on it. So,
Yeah.
you,
Yeah. I believe this. I agree with it. Leave those people alone. They're there to educate. They're working. What happened to we're going from the criminals. Also, some of the executive orders that were signed that he took, that they take. They're starting to take away from in some states, is that they're allowed to go in classrooms where kids are. The stress that causes on those kids, even the kids that are there legally, born citizens, the to see those agents come in armed or however it is, but you see them big old agents coming in the classroom, like, you know, it's like having the police going up in there.
well, I mean, in essence, they are law enforcement, but, at the same time, again, the kids have not done anything wrong. I mean, now you
Mhm.
got some folks on the far side of things that they want to say, oh, well, we go into the schools because, MS-13, their ages 14 to 17, and whoa, whoa, whoa. Man, come on, man. You know what I'm saying? It,
It doesn't make sense because then you hear in the news they riled up. I remember a few years back they did a big sting in Los Angeles, and the members were like 30, 20, 40 year olds. They did a big sting, and in that I didn't hear about any minors. You know, I
well,
think
I mean,
it's a
again,
talking point.
they're going to create a talking point to justify their actions.
Yes.
And I mean, again, what happened to, I mean, again, it's sad that he can take away something that, has been a sanctuary for kids, and whether they in the hospital, whether they in school, whether
Mm-hmm.
they in a church,
And
whatever the case may be. Now you could be in there on Sunday morning worshiping, your Savior or whoever you want to, worship,
mm-hmm.
and now all of a sudden you got all these folks coming up in there and rounding everybody up. I mean, I
Yeah.
seen a thing this morning where there was a guy in Fort Worth.
Mm.
He invited ICE to his school. He said, "Man, you need to come up over here. We got a whole bunch of folks that don't speak no English." He said, "They in my classroom every day. They got to
Wow.
use their
See.
iPhones, to understand
Wow.
what I'm telling them. The
And,
translator thing feature on iPhone."
and it's look, it's not about and it's not about any gangs and this and that, because if it was about gangs, the way they could handle it is more outreach, because it not only immigrant children fall into that lifestyle, or into those lines in life and fall for those type of traps. It's citizens too that end up becoming and falling in those societal traps. But we never think about, let's do outreach. Let's have more funding for after school where kids can go and be at and not be in the streets. You know, if they're missing a father, let's do more father outreach type things. You know what I mean? And
Right, right.
invest in our future. You want a better society. You know what I mean? Instead of, let's create fear, let's create, you know what I mean? I understand the parents might have bring the kids when they were small and stuff like that, but you have to have compassion when it comes to these children.
Well, again, yeah, as a child, the child doesn't have a choice. They go where their parents go. So, right quick, Katie, she referencing, I know you heard about it, Pedro, the two planes that got rejected by Colombia, the military planes.
Yes, well, look, you objectifying people, you're degrading people, you disrespecting a culture of people when you're putting them on military planes like they are prisoners. You are taking them with handcuffs and all this. This is how they make it seem, with handcuffs.
Yeah,
And then you
so
have the posturing of our leadership trying to be like they're the tough person, like the tough guy in the room. But it's not about who's tougher, it's about working together in the world stage. Um, if you could send them out commercially with dignity, you know, it would look better than them in shackles and handcuffs.
right, right, right. And then Katie says the same thing. It has to do with the dignity of it. You know what I'm saying? Like you said, you're putting them on military planes. They probably got them shackled up. All this other kind of stuff. And so no. But now I heard later on that the president down in Colombia said, no problem. I'll send my presidential
Hmm.
plane to go pick them up. Let me, you send them back home, no problem. We're going to treat them with dignity. We're not going to treat them like criminals, like what you're doing right now.
Hmm.
So,
And
and
and go ahead.
there's another aspect to this that a lot of people are not aware of.
Mm.
Private detention centers.
Oh, the money. You follow the money.
Follow the money. There's a whole lot of corporate stuff out there where they're going and buying warehouses and building cages and stuff like this to put people in, and they're housing them there, and they're charging all this extreme amount of money,
Hmm.
just to house these people, until they're processed, and then on their way back to whatever country they came from.
Also, also another aspect I was thinking about, Ed, I like, imagine you're in intelligence, right? You're an agent on the ground, right? And the way your leadership is posturing and feathering and riling up feathers in different governments and stuff like that in different countries. Imagine to the intelligent agents trying to trying to calm some of this down, and you know what I mean. Like it's so many aspects of our leadership on the way they posture that takes effect across a lot of sectors and a lot of different things. You know.
Well, I mean, again, he has no problem going against any of our allies, our trade allies, stuff like that. I mean, come on, man. We get a lot of stuff from South America, Colombia. You know what I'm saying? I mean,
A lot of
everybody,
coffee.
a lot of coffee, Colombian dark roast, whatever. You know what I'm saying? Not only that, bananas and a lot of mangoes and all this, just all different kind of
Yeah.
fruits and stuff.
And
Agriculture items that come from these countries and stuff.
yeah, I
Yeah.
heard if Colombia doesn't what they were saying that Colombia doesn't come to a some type of agreement, he's gonna put 25 tariff, and after
Well,
that
no,
he's
he
gonna
already did the
is it
25
okay.
percent. He said if they don't rectify this within a week, it's going
They're
to
gonna
go
do
up to
25
50
more.
percent.
Mm-hmm.
You
Okay.
know,
So think about that. Yeah, it's gonna slow their business in Colombia. They might have to go offset their coffee in another country. And I believe me, there's going to be other countries buying. The thing is, the person that's getting screwed are the companies that are importing the coffee.
and then
They're
who
going
are
to
they
pay
going?
more.
And then who are they going to screw?
Yep.
They're
Yep. So
going to
it's a
screw
chain
us.
reaction. Yeah, it's a chain
You
reaction.
know, where you can buy a pound of coffee. I don't know what a pound of coffee is now because I keep buying these Keurig cups, but you know,
Keurig coffee is going up, guys. The K pods are going
it
up too.
did. It did. Mine went from $43 for 100 K cups to $72 for 100 K cups.
That's a jump of what? More than
Well, I mean,
20%?
basically $30, man. I mean, come on, man. This is crazy. And this is before we started all of this trade stuff. You know what I'm saying? So, I
Mm-hmm.
mean, again, whatever, let's just say a pound of coffee was $5, before the tariffs. Now it might go up to, $15, you know, or whatever the case may be. That cost gets passed on to us. It doesn't hurt the people over there at all. I mean, the only way it's going to hurt them is maybe we're going to have less stuff being imported because we just can't afford to pay it. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, he's he he's actually hurting his own people by doing these things. And for whatever reason, he can't see it because why? When's the last time he went to the market? You know what I'm saying? I know we ain't supposed to be digging into politics and all of that kind of stuff, but did you see the thing where he actually is now withholding information about bird flu?
Mm. It sounds like okay. In my opinion, you know me, how I am about seeing these conspiracies that actually became true about government things, right? Look, a lot of people on the right believe how government and these JFKs and other things like the MLK assassination and other stuff that has happened, like the Contra scandal and things like that. Um, we always have a something in common that the government wants to hide. So what the technique that's happening right now is I show you what I have in my left hand, but my right hand is taking something away. And this is what they're doing. They want to cut information that can be helpful to the public, that can be that newspapers and news organizations are going to go and base their papers on. But if they don't have these research, these reports released, how are they going to warn the public?
Well, I
Think about
mean,
that
by
one.
by withholding that information, you are putting us in danger because, I mean, again, we're talking about bird flu, right? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
We're already talking about the price of eggs. Okay. They're skyrocketing. You know what I'm saying? Now let's talk about the price of chicken. I mean, where we gonna go with chicken? You know, $10, $15 a pound for chicken, and then it could be tainted
Yeah.
because you're not putting it out there. You fired all of these inspector generals
Loosened up.
illegally.
Yeah, and loosened up the regulations.
Lose the regulations. So anyway, just to mention, Monica did jump in and she said good morning, as well as the fact that now all our coffee prices are going to go up because most of our coffee comes from Colombia. So
Yeah, most of it does. And in that note, guys, we gotta cut to a quick break. I think we could talk a whole hour about this issue, honestly, but let's cut to a quick break.
You can go to customcane.com. That's custom with a K, guys. And what Custom Cane does is they sell cane and cane accessories. It's like Burger King. You can have it your way. You can get a pink cane, a blue cane, a rainbow cane, a Broncos cane, a Chargers cane, a cane with the Braille alphabet, a cane with your name on it. Whatever you want, whatever type of handle you want, whatever type of tip you want. If you want an aircraft aluminum cane, if you want an all-terrain cane, telescoping cane, any type of cane, Custom Cane has it.
Hustling jingles, $10 a shots. Birthday beats and holiday knocks. Gotcha covered for the ones you love. Personalized joy like a custom glove. Get your jingle hot and fresh. Info at blindunited.org. $10 only, no more, no less. We make memories you can't afford. Got a catchy tune for your babe. Poppin' beats like dreams we crave. For Mama's Day or Papa's cheer, let's make smiles from ear to ear. Get your jingle hot and fresh. Info at blindunited.org. $10 only, no more, no less. We make memories you can't afford.
So on that note, again, if anybody wants a little something special for your loved one, family member, whatever the case may be, for Valentine's, man, get your info at blindunited.org. We'll make sure that you get the link where you can fill out the form, and we can get you a jingle created, one of a kind, just for that special person in your life. You know, so man, it's some really good stuff. It really is. So this last one is following the, the thing here about, these deportations and all this other kind of stuff. And a lot of people don't realize immigrants do have a certain level of rights. And there's a thing going on throughout the country where it's called Know Your Rights. So check this out.
Today on Coffee Time, empowering immigrant communities through Know Your Rights workshops. Amid anticipated shifts in U.S. immigration policies, organizations nationwide are hosting Know Your Rights workshops to empower immigrant communities. These workshops are critical in helping individuals understand their legal protections, prepare for potential encounters with immigration authorities, and access essential resources. Workshops in action. Organizations and institutions across the country are stepping up with impactful initiatives. Palomar College's Dreamer Success Program. On January 15th, 2025, Palomar College hosted a webinar covering critical topics like rights during immigration officer encounters, creating family safety plans, and accessing legal resources. This effort supports immigrant students and families navigating uncertain times. McHenry County College. Starting January 29th, 2025, McHenry County College is launching a 3-part series aimed at addressing immigration issues and providing actionable guidance to the community. New Frontier Immigration Law. Offering free legal workshops, this organization focuses on empowering individuals, helping them avoid unnecessary detentions, and connecting eligible immigrants with legal relief options. Advocacy and legal support. National organizations are amplifying these efforts with tailored programs. The ACLU's People Power initiative is hosting immigration and deportation workshops, educating communities about legal protections and mobilizing resources to counter mass deportation measures. These sessions equip participants with practical strategies and knowledge to safeguard their rights. Community preparedness, a vital focus. In anticipation of policy changes, advocacy groups stress the importance of preparation. Timely action, encouraging individuals to complete citizenship applications and other legal processes promptly. Bilingual workshops, offering advice on child care plans, legal rights, and interacting with authorities in multiple languages to ensure accessibility. Family safety plans, providing guidance on proactive steps families can take to stay prepared. How to participate. Workshops are available both in person and virtually, making them accessible to diverse communities. To locate one near you, connect with local advocacy groups, community centers, and immigrant rights organizations often host these events. National organizations, groups like the ACLU and United We Dream provide resources and event updates online. The power of education. Know Your Rights workshops are more than informational sessions. They're a lifeline for communities facing uncertainty. By participating, individuals gain confidence, resources, and a sense of empowerment to navigate challenges effectively. Coffee Time Crew, what are your thoughts on these initiatives? Have you attended or supported similar efforts in your community? Let's discuss how education and advocacy can make a difference. Now, back to the Coffee Time Crew for their insights.
I've done a little bit of research on this, and so ICE, they show up to your house. They're not stormtroopers. They cannot just come in your house. They can't come kick your door down, all of this other kind of stuff, right? I've within some of these community groups, right? They're showing there's actually 2 different types of warrants, okay? And bottom line, the ICE and those folks, they're going to try to tell you that they have every right to do what they're doing, right? But what these groups are doing is they're actually giving people copies of both types of warrants so that they understand what each warrant means. And, so therefore, okay, well, slide the warrant under the door. Let me see the warrant, right? Oh, okay, well, this is that other warrant. No, you can't come in, that kind of thing. So there's a lot of different stuff, connected to this. And I mean, folks just need to educate themselves, especially, like I said, the folks that are over here just trying to live a better life. You know what I'm saying? Educate yourself, man. I hate to see you guys get sent back home on a humbug. I really would. So, and they will lie to you. I mean, law enforcement, I don't know. They seem like they need to take an oath to always tell the truth, but they don't.
Well, they're able to lie to you to get a confession too.
Right. They try to entrap you.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, it's really, really sad what they're doing to these people. I mean, again, they're turning them into victims, man. I mean, just because somebody doesn't like their skin shade or whatever, and it's not just Latinos. Trust and believe. It's all sort of Asians, Indians, and
Even Russians.
Russians. I mean, Australians,
Mm-hmm.
Europeans, Canadians. All that kind of stuff. So
They always make it seem one type of people, though, to tell you the truth, and it's it's not the perspective they kind of give you. They don't, but it affects a lot of different communities. Um, People don't only come in through the south border. We have multiple borders. They come in other ways also.
Right.
So it's a misconception to believe that people are only coming through the southern border. You know, Also, when it's sad when the government sees these people as criminals, like they have maybe even did the murder somebody and put them in shackles and degrade them and send them out. I wonder if they're doing that to these minors, and most likely are, and
Most
that's
likely
really
they
pretty.
are. I mean, last time he was in office, he was putting kids in cages. So I mean, he don't care. He really don't care. And I mean, it's just truly, truly sad. I mean, nobody, you know, should be treated that way, especially when they haven't committed, what I'm going to call a serious offense. A robbery, murder, carjacking, whatever stuff like that. If they just trying to do their thing and live their best life, what I'm saying, leave them folks alone. Plus, again, like the previous article stated, a lot of these folks contribute to Medicare and Social Security to the tune of $20 billion a year, in which they cannot even access those benefits, but they're paying into the system that a
Giving
lot
a
of us are on
surplus of
every day.
20, yeah,
Yeah,
giving it a surplus of $20 billion.
a year.
Benefits Americans. It benefits Americans, even to our seniors. So you know,
I mean,
it's like
everybody,
interrupting an
disabled community.
ecosystem, right?
Yeah, I mean that's all they're doing. They're just making things worse rather than in their mind, as they say, they're making things better. Again, what American you gonna get to go out to down to Florida and start picking oranges? It ain't gonna happen. You know, who's gonna, what American are you gonna get to go to Central California and start picking lettuce and all that other kind of stuff? It's not gonna happen. Americans, they just feel that they're above that type of work, and they're not gonna do it. So it's really, really sad. I mean, it's sad that these people have to come over here and do that kind of work because we won't. And the main key to all of this is what they'll do it for whatever the pay is. You know what I'm saying?
That's the negative effect of it. The positive effect that we can see it is that us being a first world country, being a first world economy, our way of life has changed drastically compared to a third world country. Um, we're working in office where we're doing a lot more. We work in higher end jobs. We do different other labors and other sectors. You know that the benefit of them coming in and doing this for us is keeping food in our tables. That's a benefit that we have, and the negative is that it's sad that some of them don't get paid the right ways. They do it for way less, you know. But if they would have came in and get paid normally, maybe the their narrative that it's always pushed that they come and undertake your jobs and get paid less, and then now you earn less.
Wow.
um I think it's just a narrative. It's just like pointing fingers. Oh, well, him over there, don't look this way, don't look this
Right,
way
right.
you
Well,
know
I mean, it's like Katie says in the comments, we are a nation of immigrants. I mean, even Americans, we immigrated from Europe. And, that didn't even sound right, but you know what I mean. I mean, we got tired of being under the European rule or whatever. We came over, we migrated over here. We didn't own nothing over here. We came over and took over. You know what I'm saying? So And at that point, actually, we were immigrants. You know what I'm saying? Now jump over to what Monica said. A lot of people didn't go to work, this last week and, probably this week as well that works in those fields. Why are they going to go out there and go to work and do this work and knowing that ICE could come through and scoop them up, when they just out there trying to earn an honest living? They might well just sit at the house and wait on them to come knocking on the door, you
Mm-hmm.
know? So, I mean, it's really, really sad. I mean, Americans have been bringing immigrants to the United States. I mean, starting with, slavery. I mean, they brought the Africans over here. They brought the Chinese over here to build the railroads. They brought Irish folks over here as in what do
And
they
they were
call
there.
it?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Indentured servitude. You know what I'm saying? Where, you had to work for 10 years to pay for your passage to come over to America. You know what I'm saying? So basically, you got a slave. You got for 10 years. You know what I'm saying? It's just it's sad, and they're still doing it. I mean, I
With the
hate to
visas, yeah.
I hate to point right with the visas. I mean, again, pointing at that. It's not that Americans are not smart enough to do those tech engineer jobs. It's that Americans are going to demand a higher scale of pay than the ones they're bringing over from third world countries such as India. It's just that
Basically,
simple.
basically is corporate America likes to import workers so they can pay less and keep more money in their pockets.
That's all it is.
That's all it is. It's all it is. There is smart people in America. We have innovated since the 1800s. We've been innovating in this country. We have created industries. We have created inventions that no other place in the world has created. You know, so
Right.
to say that and to say that and be on camera and saying that you're slapping the American people on the face. Is what
Yeah.
you're doing. The
Uh,
hmm
I want to bring up something Katie commented in the comments here. I don't know. You remember? You know who Cesar Chavez is, right, Pedro?
hmm hmm
He started the Farm Workers Union.
hmm
If we still had that, we'd have plenty of workers. But they did away with that. We no longer have a Farm Workers Union. But if we had a union where people can get a fair wage, a living wage, right, then there
hmm
wouldn't be an issue. But the farmers, you know, again, they had to do what they got to do to keep their prices down or whatever. I mean, I don't think it's right the way they did it. You know what I'm saying? But again, who are the farmers selling to? They're selling to corporate. They're selling to these big supermarket chains and all this other kind of stuff that are corporate owned. And they just don't want to pay them prices. Why? Because they want to be able to put a 50 to 100% markup on the produce that they're buying. You know what I'm saying? I mean,
Yeah,
even
yeah.
even like companies like Walmart or whatever, they well we import everything from China and whatever, so we can give it to you cheaper. No, okay, well how are you going to sell me something that costs you $1 to make in China? You're going to bring it over here and sell it to me for $25.
Yeah, yeah. Now I noticed their prices have gone up. But staying within the farmers, think about it. We have families that have farms, but we also have corporations that are farms, miles and miles, sometimes even going out to the grapevine. There's a big dairy farm, a corporate dairy farm at that. you know so sometimes these corporations like Walmart and others have contracts that they keep with these corporate farms, so they deal with them. So sometimes the small farms get stifled out, and then
Yep,
they cannot compete. We have this happening. Corporate has been going wild. That's why we have prices like this, because corporate America has been running loose and with no regulations, with no guidelines, and they're less now. They're taking more guidelines away. I think there needs to be more, because if we had a farmers union in it, and I don't know how it's gonna sound, but a union wouldn't tolerate farmers that are corporate or even small farms to hire any immigrants, because that is gonna compete against their workers in that union. It would have kept things in check if you think about it. If you really think
Well,
about it.
they eliminate corporate America is eliminating competition by gobbling them up, because with competition you got price, lower prices. When there's no competition, then you get to price it at whatever you want to price it at. So I mean, again, people just need to pay attention to what's going on out here. Don't buy into the hype. I mean, like I said, the top 1%, they pretty much own everything. You know what I'm saying? And they're not going to do whatever it's going to take to help keep prices down, because why? They're greedy. They want all the money they can get. So, on that note, it is the end of our time here today. We will be back again tomorrow. So, please don't forget to like, subscribe, follow, share, comment. Hit the notifications, well, all that good stuff, no matter what platform you're on. We really, really, really appreciate it. It helps get this stuff out to more and more people. So, on that note, my brother Pedro, you got anything you want to say before we bounce?
Just one thing, guys. Remember, when you look up and make research, follow the money.
Follow the
The
money.
money. You know.
The money is always going to point you in the right direction of who's starting all the boo-boos. So, on that note, we will see you guys again tomorrow. Everybody have a great Monday afternoon, and we'll talk to you soon. Hopefully, we'll see you this evening in the doubleheader with George Zavala. Everybody have